You're not here by accident. Something deep inside you led you to this exact moment, to this very video. And once you finish watching it, you'll begin to understand why, maybe lately, you've felt overwhelmed, like your life is spinning into chaos, filled with uncertainty and challenges that seem to have no purpose or logic. But what if I told you that all of this might actually be the clearest sign that you're about to step into the most powerful, beautiful, and meaningful chapter of your life? What many people don't realize is that the universe always whispers before it shouts. It sends signs, nudges, and subtle signals before a massive shift occurs. The real tragedy is that most people never recognize these signals for what they are. They misinterpret them as bad luck, as misfortune, and they give up just before their breakthrough. But not you. You're here, and that already means you're paying attention. Today I'm going to walk you through 7 of the most powerful signs that your life is on the verge of a profound transformation. And if you find yourself resonating with even 3 of them, prepare yourself, because a new reality is already unfolding. The first sign: you begin questioning everything you thought you knew about life. If recently you've caught yourself reflecting on your beliefs, your values, your goals, or even your sense of purpose, it's not by chance. Something deep within you has already begun to shift. This internal transformation may not be visible on the surface yet, but it's very real. It's as if the old mental structures you once relied on are starting to crumble. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is sacred. It means you're waking up to a new version of yourself. The universe is inviting you to re-examine everything you've ever taken for granted. Your reality, your relationships, your direction. This isn't a crisis. It's an awakening. It's the universe urging you to dismantle the illusions you've been living under, so you can open the door to something far greater than you've ever imagined. This shift in perspective is necessary for your evolution. It's life showing you that your mind is ready to expand, to embrace new ideas, and to step into a future that's aligned with your higher self. These questions: who am I really? What do I truly want? Am I living a life that honors my soul's calling? Are not just philosophical ponderings, they are portals, and once you step through them, there's no going back. Suddenly the world feels unfamiliar. Things that once made perfect sense start to lose their meaning. Certainties vanish. And while that may feel like losing your footing, it's actually you finding your path. This disorientation is the universe's way of clearing the path, of making space for the real you to emerge, free from the old roles, expectations, and stories that no longer fit. It's like a spiritual cleansing, a death of the false self so the authentic self can be born. The universe, in its wisdom, begins to strip away the masks, the lies, the outdated identities. And what remains is raw, honest, and real. And even though the process feels like chaos, it's actually creation. You are being rebuilt, stronger, wiser, and more attuned to the truth of who you really are. Remember, this questioning is not a detour. It's the beginning of the journey. You're not losing your way. You're finally starting to see it. And yes, it's scary when the familiar falls apart. But that falling apart is what makes space for something better. You're not broken, you're breaking free. And it's not just your beliefs that are being challenged. You may notice that your relationships, your habits, even your daily routines are shifting. People who no longer align with your energy begin to fade away. Circumstances that once brought comfort may now feel suffocating. That's because you're shedding everything that doesn't resonate with your new frequency. Think of this as an internal detox, a filter that allows only what nourishes your soul to stay and releases everything else. And yes, that means letting go of comfort zones, of familiar pain, of the illusion of control. It's hard because these things may have once felt like parts of your identity, but they're not who you are. They were just tools for a different phase of your life. And what comes after? That's the magic. On the other side of this upheaval is a new version of you, more resilient, more conscious, and more aligned with your deepest truth. You'll begin to sense it, a subtle but powerful feeling, a mixture of fear and excitement, as if something big, something extraordinary is about to happen. And that feeling, that's not a coincidence. That's your intuition speaking. It's the sign that your consciousness is expanding, that you're dissolving the limitations you once placed on yourself. And as those internal walls begin to fall, something beautiful starts to grow. New dreams, new purpose, new energy. It's like pulling weeds from a garden to make room for vibrant, blossoming life. And here's where the magic truly unfolds. You'll start to receive answers, but not in the way you expect. They might come in the form of chance encounters, synchronistic events, a stranger's words, or a book that mysteriously finds its way into your hands. These moments, seemingly random, carry messages tailored specifically for you. Even if you don't have all the answers yet, you'll feel it. You're on the right path, because the very act of questioning is transformation in motion. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. The kind of wisdom that emerges when you stop pretending and start listening to yourself, to your soul, to the universe. And as you continue to lean into this process, you'll notice the external world beginning to reflect your inner shifts. That's the beauty of alignment. Your reality begins to change, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You've raised your frequency, you've opened your eyes, you've reclaimed your power. So don't fear the questions, welcome them, embrace the uncertainty, allow yourself to feel the discomfort, because it means you're growing. And every great transformation begins this way, with confusion, with doubt, with a sense of falling apart. But what you're really doing is falling into place. And when you finally surrender to this process, you'll start seeing the signs the universe has been sending you all along. They've always been there, waiting for you to be ready. And now you are. The second sign, you begin to feel a growing disconnection from your past, one of the clearest and most powerful indicators that you're on the verge of entering a new chapter in your life. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual, subtle shift that begins deep within you, often so quietly that you don't even notice it at first. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, the things that once excited you, that motivated you, that filled you with purpose and energy, they begin to lose their power over you. Maybe you've realized that the hobbies, the conversations, or the routines that once brought you joy now feel hollow. It's as if you're looking at the same world but through different eyes. Eyes that no longer light up at the same sights. Ears that no longer respond to the same sounds. The people you once felt deeply connected to, the places that once felt like home, now seem distant, almost foreign. You begin to notice that the emotions tied to those experiences have faded, and in their place is a quiet sense of detachment. This shift is not random, it's not a fleeting mood or a phase that will pass with time. It's something far deeper, far more profound. It is your soul, gently but firmly nudging you forward. It's telling you that you've outgrown certain moments, certain relationships, certain versions of yourself. Your perception of life is evolving, and as that perception changes, so too do your goals, your desires, your values, and your connections. And suddenly, the things that once formed the foundation of your identity no longer feel like they belong to you. They feel like echoes of a life you once lived, shadows of a self you no longer are. It's a confusing experience. You don't always know where you're going or what you're supposed to become. But you know with certainty that you can't go back. You can't keep pretending that the old life fits the new version of you. It simply doesn't. Your previous routines, the job that once defined your worth, the social circles you used to feel part of, even the thoughts that guided your day-to-day life, these all begin to unravel. And yes, this unraveling can be deeply unsettling. It can feel like loss. But at the same time, it is one of the strongest signs of personal transformation. It's your inner being making space. It's you shedding your old skin so that something far more aligned with your true essence can emerge. Letting go of the familiar is never easy. There's a kind of mourning that happens when you release parts of your identity that once felt permanent. But this disconnection you're experiencing is not meant to punish you. It's meant to prepare you. It is making room for what's next. Think of it as a clearing in the forest, freshly opened by time and change, ready to receive new life. What's coming may not be visible yet, but it's growing silently just beneath the surface. The loss of interest in your past is a sacred signal from the universe, one that tells you, even if you don't yet understand, that something new is on its way. This isn't about abandoning everything you've known. It's about unbinding yourself from the things that have fulfilled their purpose. It's about loosening the grip on attachments that no longer support your growth. You're entering a time in your life where you're being called to release. Release the roles you've played, the patterns you've repeated, and the masks you've worn. You're being invited to step into a life that reflects who you are becoming, not who you once were. This transformation doesn't always make sense. It may feel uncertain. It may feel like the ground is shifting beneath you. But within that uncertainty lies the promise of something beautiful. Expansion, rebirth, and the chance to rediscover yourself in ways you never imagined possible. The feeling of disconnection is just the beginning. Beneath it lies a cascade of internal changes. You begin to notice that your beliefs are evolving, especially the limiting ones you never questioned before. That old version of yourself, the one who accepted certain truths, lived according to external expectations, followed the crowd, starts to fade. You begin to question things you once took for granted. Maybe you start to look inward more often, finding that the world outside no longer holds all the answers. Maybe you feel that your old structures are crumbling, not in a way that destroys you, but in a way that liberates you. You might even struggle to define who you are in this new space. But despite that uncertainty, one thing is crystal clear. You're not the same person anymore. You're evolving, you're expanding, and that old skin no longer fits. There is a burning desire within you to be reborn, to step into a version of yourself that is bolder, freer, and more authentic. You may not know yet what that version looks like, but you can feel it calling to you. As this sense of disconnection deepens, fear can creep in. Fear of letting go, fear of losing what's familiar, fear of stepping into the unknown. But hand in hand with that fear comes liberation. There is freedom in no longer needing to be who you used to be. There is strength in releasing what no longer supports your highest path. That empty space you feel inside, it's not emptiness at all. It's potential. It's the womb of new beginnings. It's the signal that something far more aligned with your soul is about to emerge. And yes, it may be uncomfortable. Growth often is, but that discomfort is the gateway to clarity. And with time, clarity comes. You stop looking outside yourself for guidance. You stop relying on others to define your path. Instead, you turn inward. You begin to trust your inner wisdom, your intuition, your heart, your soul. The noise of the world starts to fade, and in its place rises a steady, quiet voice within you. That voice becomes your compass. It becomes your truth. You stop clinging to the past. You stop trying to revive the old. Instead, you open yourself to possibility. You allow yourself to grow into someone new. Every day brings you closer to a more honest version of who you really are. Not the version molded by fear or obligation or expectation, but the version that has always been waiting for you beneath the surface. So if you find yourself drifting away from who you once were, if your old life no longer fits, if the people, habits, and dreams that once felt essential now feel distant, know this: your soul is guiding you. It's leading you to a new beginning. And no, disconnection is not the end. It is the quiet, sacred beginning of the transformation you were always meant to experience. The real journey is just beginning. Third sign: you find yourself questioning what you once thought was important. Have you ever noticed that what used to feel essential no longer carries the same weight? It's as if you're suddenly seeing life from a completely different angle. Things that once worried you seem to lose their grip. Material goals, other people's opinions, and social expectations begin to fade in the presence of something far more meaningful. You start questioning what truly matters to you. Your career, money, fame, they all seem like small pieces of a much bigger picture you couldn't quite see before. You begin to realize that the true meaning of life isn't about meeting society's standards, but about living in alignment with what genuinely resonates within you. It's like a filter has fallen away, allowing you to see past the surface and into the essence of who you are. This inner questioning isn't always easy. It can stir up uncertainty, even make you feel lost amid a sea of conflicting ideas. But that very space of not knowing is fertile ground for personal growth. That's the place where new answers begin to surface, answers that come from within, not from outside voices. Life starts revealing to you that fulfillment doesn't come from accumulating things, but from the experiences that enrich your soul and the relationships that nourish your spirit. This questioning can even spark a complete reevaluation of your purpose. Why are you here? What do you truly want to experience? And the answers don't always come instantly. But what's certain is that you're beginning to open up to new possibilities. What once felt indispensable is losing its power, making way for new interests, new passions, and a deeper longing to connect with what truly matters. This is a clear sign that you're preparing for a radical transformation. The universe is guiding you toward what truly fulfills you, toward your authentic path. And although it may all feel confusing at first, this is actually the doorway to a more conscious life, one aligned with your purest essence. This shift in perspective usually happens gradually, but once it begins, you realize it can no longer be ignored. You start to notice that the things that used to give you a sense of security now feel hollow. You no longer feel the need to follow the flow of what society defines as success. It's as if a new energy is taking hold of you, pulling you toward a more authentic life. One that's less influenced by external expectations. This process isn't just about rejecting the old, it's about allowing the new to enter. The passions and interests you may have set aside are suddenly reclaiming your attention. Maybe you're rediscovering old activities you had forgotten, or even exploring new areas you never thought to consider. You no longer care about fitting into a system or following a well-worn path. Instead, you're seeking a road that reflects your true values, your real purpose, the one only you can define. This questioning may also come with a temporary sense of loneliness. At first, you might feel disconnected from old friends or your usual social circle. It's a natural part of distancing yourself from external expectations in order to find your inner truth. But don't be afraid, it's only temporary. That loneliness becomes the space where self-awareness can grow. And over time, you'll start attracting people who share your new vision, people who resonate with your evolving worldview. It's like experiencing a reset. What no longer serves you starts to fade, and in its place, a renewed energy connects you with what genuinely matters. This process of questioning isn't a crisis, it's an awakening that prepares you for something bigger, deeper, and more aligned with your purpose. And although the journey toward that discovery might seem uncertain at first, you'll come to understand that it's exactly what you needed to become the best version of yourself. Fourth sign, you feel more connected to your intuition than ever before. It's a fascinating phenomenon that arises when you're on the brink of making a major leap in your life. It's as if a new kind of inner clarity gets activated within you. Suddenly, life begins to make more sense, as if everything carries a deeper meaning and every choice feels more natural. What once felt uncertain now becomes obvious. You're no longer lost in the chaos of your thoughts. Something within starts guiding you, showing you which direction to take. Intuition is that inner voice, that gut feeling that tells you what to do, even without needing all the answers or logical explanations. It's the sense of knowing that something is aligned with your true self, even if you can't explain why. The key lies in learning to trust that inner wisdom. As you begin to do so, you'll notice that making decisions becomes easier, because you're acting from a deeper place, one that's more connected to who you truly are. This awakening of intuition isn't something that happens overnight. It often starts with small signs like a hunch that leads you to take a different path, or a wave of calm that embraces you during uncertain moments. At first, it might be hard to recognize, especially since the noise of everyday life tends to drown out that inner voice. But as you start giving it space and begin listening more closely, you'll see how it grows stronger and clearer. Intuition can show up in various forms, sometimes as a physical sensation in the body, other times as a thought that appears out of nowhere, or even as an unexplainable certainty about a personal situation. And as you grow more attuned to it, you'll begin to realize that your choices are no longer purely rational. They come from a deeper knowing that's more in tune with your essence. It won't matter if you don't fully understand why something draws you in or pushes you away, because that feeling of certainty is the beginning of a powerful transformation that's about to unfold. As you continue nurturing this connection with your intuition, you'll start noticing that events which once seemed random or messy now have a pattern. As if the pieces of a puzzle are finally fitting together, your life starts flowing more naturally, more smoothly, because you feel, in some unexplainable way, that you're in the right place at the right time, doing exactly what you're meant to do. You no longer feel the urge to overanalyze every step, because you trust that your intuition is guiding you toward the right path. This awakening also allows you to notice things that once went unseen. You'll be able to read between the lines, sense the energy of people and situations, and grasp more deeply what's truly happening around you. Sometimes it's not about what's being said, but what's being felt. And now you'll be much more open to those subtle vibrations. The most amazing part about this sign is that the more you trust your intuition, the more you begin to feel a deep sense of peace and security that you never knew before. Even if you don't have all the answers, even if the future is still a mystery, that strong feeling of being aligned with your purpose will be so powerful that nothing will be able to pull you off your path. Fear and doubt begin to lose their grip because your decisions no longer come from a place of fear, but from a deep understanding of yourself and the universe around you. This marks the beginning of a phase of self-discovery and empowerment. As you continue learning to listen to your intuition, you'll notice that the choices you make bring you closer to your true essence. Life starts to flow with a grace you never imagined, simply because you're now aligned with the natural rhythm of your being. Yes, you feel more drawn to the idea of personal growth. As this new chapter unfolds, you notice your mind opening wider than ever before. You're no longer content with what you once knew, nor with the version of yourself you used to accept. It feels as if a profound desire for personal expansion is rising from within. You no longer want to just exist, but to evolve, to improve, to push your limits. This inner drive for growth begins to guide your thoughts and actions. You find yourself constantly seeking new knowledge through books, courses, experiences, or even conversations with people who challenge the way you think. Knowledge, new skills, and transformative experiences draw you in like never before. It's as if you're hungry to learn more, to grow more, to become a more authentic and powerful version of yourself. This thirst for learning and self-discovery leads you to explore parts of yourself you never thought to uncover, from your hidden passions to your deepest limitations. You sense that there's no time to waste, that now is the time to embrace every opportunity to reinvent yourself. And it's not just about intellectual curiosity, it's about a longing to feel whole, to align more closely with your values and your purpose. This longing for growth also connects you to a transformative energy, a feeling that nothing is impossible if you are willing to evolve. You find yourself more open to releasing old limiting beliefs and welcoming new perspectives that move you forward. This personal development isn't just a desire, it's becoming an inner necessity, one that will reflect in every part of your life. What once seemed like a clear and defined path now feels uncertain, as though you need to discover new directions, new ways of thinking and acting. Personal growth is no longer just a choice, it's a priority. You're ready to embark on a journey that won't just change your outer world, it will reshape your inner self in ways you can't yet fully comprehend. You begin asking deeper questions. Who am I really? What is my purpose? What do I truly want to do with my life? This period of questioning is no accident. It's a clear sign that your mind is ready to expand, to break out of the comfort zone you once thought was enough. You're not just searching for answers, you're craving a transformation that elevates you to a higher level of awareness where the ordinary begins to feel extraordinary. And at the same time, you feel a pull toward healing. It's not only intellectual growth, it's also emotional and spiritual. You start confronting old wounds, limiting beliefs, and mental patterns that no longer serve you. You're ready to let them go, understanding that only by releasing the past can you make room for the new. And while this process can be challenging, it becomes one of the most exciting parts of your journey toward a more authentic self. Your life starts to revolve more around what truly matters. Growth, connection, authenticity, these begin to outweigh the small concerns and superficial distractions that once consumed your attention. You are now ready to move beyond the daily routine to make meaningful changes that align with your deepest desires. You may start surrounding yourself with people who also feel this urge to grow and transform. People who challenge you to be better, think differently, and explore new ideas and perspectives. You're no longer seeking external validation or clinging to outdated beliefs. You're seeking a more meaningful and authentic life, a life that reflects the truest version of who you are. Sign number 6, you're feeling an intense desire to break free from toxic relationships and situations that no longer resonate with you. At this stage of your life, you're beginning to notice how certain people and circumstances that once felt like home now seem completely out of place. The things you used to tolerate, the behaviors you once excused, and the environments you once accepted as normal now feel heavy, draining, or simply disconnected from who you are becoming. You're not just outgrowing these dynamics, you're evolving past them. What once felt familiar and even comforting no longer aligns with your evolving values, your deeper sense of purpose, or your inner peace. You're undergoing a profound transformation, and that process is making it impossible to ignore the weight of what's been holding you back. It's like waking up from a long sleep and realizing that some of the people and patterns you kept close were never really helping you thrive. They were just keeping you in place. And now something has shifted inside of you. There's a clarity emerging, a powerful awareness that you no longer want to remain stuck in connections that drain your energy or keep you in a state of emotional turbulence. It doesn't matter how long you've known someone, how much effort you've invested, or how familiar the situation feels. If it doesn't support your growth, it's time to let it go. You no longer fear the uncertainty that comes with change, because the discomfort of staying in a place that no longer feels right has become greater than the fear of the unknown. This urge to distance yourself from toxic energy isn't about rejecting others with resentment. It's about honoring yourself with love. It's not selfish to choose peace, to seek clarity, to protect your energy. It's self-respect. You're beginning to understand that in order to become the best version of yourself, you must first be willing to step away from what dims your light. You can't build a future that feels true to you if you're still anchored to the past through relationships that no longer reflect who you are. What's unfolding within you is a sacred act of self-liberation. It's the understanding that you deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, who challenge you in ways that promote your growth, who see you clearly and love you for who you truly are. You're not looking for perfection. You're looking for authenticity, for realness, for mutual respect and emotional safety. And while the process of letting go can be painful, because endings are never easy, it's also one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It's a declaration that your well-being matters, that your peace matters, that your time, your heart, your energy, they all matter. You no longer want to sacrifice those things for the sake of comfort or fear. You've realized that clinging to what's familiar isn't worth the cost of your personal evolution. As you release what no longer serves you, something beautiful begins to happen. You start attracting people and experiences that are in true alignment with your soul. New connections begin to blossom, ones that feel light, expansive, inspiring. You find yourself in the company of those who get you, who support your path, who encourage your dreams rather than belittle them. These are the relationships that add value to your life. They don't drain you, they fuel you. And slowly, you begin to rebuild. A new chapter begins, one filled with genuine bonds that replace the superficial ones. The kind of connections that don't just fill the space, but nurture your spirit. You stop settling for half-hearted relationships and begin welcoming the kind of love, whether in friendship, family, or romance, that sees you, hears you, and respects you. This is the sign that you're preparing for a new and extraordinary stage in your life, one where you are more in tune with who you truly are, one where peace is prioritized, where your heart is safe, and where your soul is finally free to grow, to love, and to live without restraint. This is more than just a shift, it's your rebirth. Sign number 7, you begin to feel a powerful disconnection from everything that no longer serves you. As you step into this new phase of your life, you start to notice that what once felt essential, meaningful, or even irreplaceable, now carries far less weight. It's as if something deep within you has shifted. Your perspective is changing, your energy is transforming, and what once seemed to define your world now begins to fade into the background. Relationships that used to feel vital may now feel strained or disconnected. Activities that once filled you with joy might now seem hollow or repetitive. Even familiar places, spots that once gave you comfort, might suddenly feel distant or unfamiliar. And no, this doesn't mean that your past was a mistake or that your choices were wrong. It simply means you're evolving, you're shedding layers of an identity that no longer fits. You're stepping into a more aligned version of yourself. And in doing so, certain pieces of your old life naturally begin to fall away. This disconnection might feel uncomfortable at first. There can be moments of confusion, sadness, or nostalgia. You might question yourself, why don't I enjoy this anymore? Or why do I feel so distant from people I used to love? And yet, amidst that discomfort, there's a subtle but undeniable feeling of freedom. It's like breathing fresh air after being in a closed room for too long. You may not understand everything that's happening, but something inside you knows it's time to let go. You begin to notice that certain habits, routines, or even thought patterns no longer resonate with your current state of being. What once consumed your attention now barely moves you. Old fears lose their grip. Constant worries seem less urgent. And while this can bring a sense of loss, it also carries with it a profound sense of peace. There's a sacred silence that follows the letting go, an inner calm that wasn't there before. You're not just releasing the old, you're making room for the new. And this new is not just something external, it's a deeper alignment with who you truly are becoming. And this isn't a sudden transformation, it unfolds slowly, almost quietly. Day by day, the shift deepens. You might wake up one morning and realize you no longer feel passionate about something that once defined your identity. Or you might find that conversations with certain people leave you drained rather than inspired. This isn't about betrayal. It's not about abandoning your past or rejecting the people in it. It's about honoring your evolution, recognizing that growth often means outgrowing. You're cultivating a more refined awareness of what truly matters. Your inner compass is recalibrating. You understand that in order to move forward, you must release what no longer nourishes your soul. It could be a job, a friendship, a belief system, or simply a version of yourself that no longer feels true. This process is sacred. It's part of your becoming. And while it may not always be easy, it is necessary. Remember, the universe has a unique way of guiding us, sometimes gently, sometimes abruptly, but always purposefully. If you're hearing these words right now, if they resonate even a little, trust that it's not by accident. You were meant to receive this message. Something within you is awakening, a deeper wisdom is rising to the surface. And if you follow it, if you trust this inner knowing, You are about to enter a chapter of your life where everything starts to make sense. What happens when you finally take control of your life with full awareness of these signs? What shifts when you stop clinging to what was and start welcoming what's meant to be? A powerful awakening awaits, one that has the potential to reshape everything you thought you knew. You're not just changing your circumstances, you're expanding your consciousness. You're aligning with a version of reality where peace, clarity, and authenticity are your new foundation. This is the beginning of something extraordinary. Stay curious, stay open. The journey ahead is not just about growth, it's about transformation. You're not alone on this path. And if you feel called to keep exploring your personal evolution, continue walking with us. There's so much more to uncover. We'll meet again soon, and together we'll keep growing, expanding, and stepping into the truth of who we really are.